Well, greetings, everyone. I am so excited to be back tonight with another candid conversation, but there's just a little twist to it. There is going to be a candid conversation with Daejha. Yes, my very own daughter is here tonight to share with us. And as I said earlier, this conversation is going to be loaded, but remember, it's going to be real, raw, and definitely relevant. I am assured that you are going to be blessed by this young lady. She has so much wisdom and so much knowledge. And I am, again, so excited to just share this live broadcast with her. So would you please welcome me and join in my daughter, Daejha White.
Hey, Pumpkin.
Hey, hon. Listen, it is so good to have you on tonight.
Thank you.
Your mom is so excited to share this broadcast with you and to just have a candid conversation. And so, as I thought about this, we said that we were not going to rehearse. The only thing that I asked you is if you would do it. And so, this conversation tonight is raw, and so it is unscripted. But I trust that by the end of it, our viewing audience is definitely going to be blessed. So, Daejha, I'm gonna give you just a minute to go ahead and greet the people.
Hey, everybody. um, Welcome in to the convo. Get your popcorn, get your little Kool-Aid. I got mine. This is the blood of Jesus, cherry flavored, but it's the blood. It's the blood. Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm ready. I ain't been on live with you. I think this my first live with you.
This is the first live with me, just you and I.
Okay, yeah, this is my first live with you. I usually go live with my dad. He mad the funny, so I done switched over to the other side now.
Don't let her fool you. She'll quickly switch back over with.
There gotta be a balance.
Yeah, that's right. But so I'm so excited to just jump in. Again, like we said, the conversation is fluid. I can see the comments coming through. Daejha, you're not able to see these comments, but everybody is telling you hello.
Hey, y'all.
And so you have your support team, that's backing you. But let's jump right in. So, gosh,
excuse me.
bless you. So, life. I know life, as we oftentimes we tease and say that life is lifing, and I remember you sent me something one time that said, I tried the adult version of it, the adult trial version, and I want to return it.
And 0 out of 10. Don't recommend. Don't recommend.
At that time, you were already out on your own. I don't know if you were about 23, 24, but you were talking about how you wanted to return this thing called adulthood. And now you're 27 years old, and well, you're as old as you are. And so, I know that this journey, from being a teenager and just coming up through life, I know that the journey is not oftentimes, it's not always what we expect it to be. And so I've watched you, of course, from birth, to your childhood days, to teenage days, to young adult days, to now just a little bit older adult days, and how transition and how you've been able to weather. Like anybody, there's always going to be those days where things are pretty good, and then there's going to be a season where things are really, really rough. So talk to us, and I want to put this plug in. advise Daejha to share whatever it is that she wants to, share. And at whatever time she wants to share more, she's able to do that. So based on this, what would you say to this transition, transitioning from the different phases of life and up until now? And you can take your time and speak on that.
Like transitioning as a whole, just in general, to like where I'm at now, or just in general?
Yes, transitioning in general.
Well, I would say I'm thankful. I'm really very thankful right now. I speak to right now, and then I'll go back a little bit. But right now, I'm just very thankful of the foundation that you guys instilled in us with God, and prayer, and just having a relationship with God. Now, when I was younger, I mean, we grew up in the church, so we always knew who God was, and I know how to say a little prayer too, and God is gracious, God is good, let me thank you for our food so I can eat real fast, and had that little part down pat. But it really wasn't until I started wanting different, and God started positioning me basically where I couldn't run no more, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was a mixture of both, like wanting different, and then also like God repositioning me. Well, I don't even know if I can say repositioning, because he always had a plan for me, for our life, for all of us, for our lives and stuff. But it's on us to, accept that or to go down that path. But I would say just transitioning, it was definitely hard, but I feel like it would have been harder if we didn't have that foundation. If I didn't know who God was already, if I didn't, you know what I'm saying, have that church foundation, just all of that instilled in us at a young age. I mean, I always appreciated going to church, but I mean, it was our norm. It was our norm for us to be in church, and for us to, so I'm just in church. It ain't really, and I love God. I think I did, you know what I'm saying? But my life wasn't showing that. And so like where I'm at now, I'm just trying to be more intentional about worshiping God and praising God with my life, the way I live. But yeah, I would just say the transitioning, I'm just very thankful for where I'm at right now and what I have going on. It wasn't easy because I was running. I was running. But a lot of stuff I just got tired of. I got tired of doing the same things over again, tired of being out, I'm tired of drinking, I'm tired of smoke, I'm tired of doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really no point. When I sat down and started thinking about, like, because first off, you know how I am with my money. Exactly. Now, this instead of costing me, is $40 a bottle, and this, that, and the third. Now, something got to get cut. Something got to get cut off now. Right. So after a while, and it really wasn't just the money; it was also God as well. But after a while, it was just like, really, why am I doing this? I stay by myself. I've been staying by myself for a while. Like, so even just some of the stuff that I was doing on my own time is just like, literally, why are you doing it? Like, you're not really getting nothing from out of it. It's not really, you know what I'm saying? Like, but an addiction, that's what you're getting from out of it. An addiction. The longer you keep up with something, you start out just doing it for this reason, whatever reason, oh, I'm just to have this here and there, whatever. But ultimately that stuff it serves no purpose really, other than to deter you from what God's purpose is, ultimately. So I would just say that as far as my transition. I don't know if I answered the question, but
you did. Okay, so very good, and we'll probably revisit some of that. So let's talk a little bit about what were some of the things, or a thing, where you knew you were at point break, like when everything was spiraling and you knew, like, I have to do something different. And that could be, part of a journey towards that. Talk a little bit about that.
I feel like I said, the more and more I ran from God, the more uncomfortable I was doing some of the stuff. I was really all of it, because none of it was of God. You know what I'm saying? So like, just the more I ran, the more uncomfortable I was in what I was doing. Now, uncomfortable, not really like just a bad uncomfortable, but it's always in my mind, because I know this ain't really what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? I know it's more for me out there. And that's another thing. Once I started like going through for real, and going through weathering, having to try to weather stuff and do this, that, and the third or whatever. And I'm praying and I'm calling. But one thing that stood out to me, like my pastor was talking about, and not my daddy. My daddy's still my pastor, but I have a pastor from my church home.
Right.
He was just saying, like, does God? He had made a point to say, does God do he even know your name? Like, you doing all this praying, yeah, you know to pray, you know to do this, that, and the third, but do he really know who you are? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you know him, but he don't know you for real. So like that really hit home for me too. And just like, I feel like the grace that I had, the grace and the mercy that I had, like when I was staying with y'all and under y'all and stuff, it get thinner and thinner. I don't know the word for it, but it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was something I had to start doing. Y'all couldn't pray that off of me. Y'all couldn't pray me through it. Y'all couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, y'all was praying, but you just get to a certain point where it's on you. And I didn't want, I got tired of the double-mindedness. I got tired of straddling the fence, because I don't know if people know or not, but that's one of the worst places you want to be at, when doing something you know ain't right, you know better. Doing stuff that you know better, you know what I'm saying, as a whole. So I feel like a lot of the things that I was going through was really because I was straddling, because I'm running, because, you know what I'm saying, I'm not submitting fully unto God. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's good. That's good. So, are you open to sharing some of, you talked about like maybe a couple of tough times. Can you share maybe one tough time that you were in and you know, okay, this grace that we talk is thinning out. It's basically coming to an end, and I'm going to have to do something different, because you know we all at some point, I'm sure we run, you know, we even run into people that will say something Godward and let us know that we're off track. Can you remember one pivotal thing in your life where maybe somebody spoken in your life, or you ran into a situation and you knew like, I'm off kilter, I'm way off?
Well, I would say probably about in like maybe 2019-ish, because for a long time, really up until I got to now, where I'm at now, maybe like the past 3.5, 4 years done been not good. Like on the decline, like not good, you know. So I would say initially it started with that. And I had my own place still. You know, once I graduated, I was gone. Like, I ain't finna keep, I'm out. So, yeah, I was staying on my own at the time. My roommate had to end up moving back home or whatever. So I had a spot to myself, whatever, end up letting somebody move in with me. And you already know from off the point, and I saw every red flag. I seen every single thing that was shouting no to me, and I was acting like I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? So, and he fixed me. Oh, the Lord fixed me for that. But as you know, 2 evictions from that. I ain't got to go all the way into detail, but 2 evictions. First eviction from the apartment that I was in, God ended up blessing me with somewhere else and for cheaper. And instead of making a decision that I knew I should have made as far as cutting ties and just, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, tried to tag this person along, evicted again. I wasn't even in the apartment a month. It's not funny, but yeah. So that really probably was one of like the most toughest and eye-opening, because at that time I have a relationship with God, but I'm not living it. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm really doing my own thing, honestly, because of course God not finna tell me that. He ain't tell me to do that. He ain't tell me to, you know what I'm saying? All of this, that, and the third. So what was I at? I don't. Oh yeah. So I had a relationship with God or whatever, but it was like, I'm like, God, I know you ain't gonna leave me out here. I know something gonna come from this. I know, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and third. You know, I pay my tithes faithfully and all this, that, and third. But when it get to a certain extent or a certain point, that's not finna cover you. That's not finna save you just because you paying your tithes, but you're not living right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you will reap some type of benefit from it, you know. And I thank God that he never left me, and he always protected and covered me through the decisions that I was making, because I was on something stupid. I was on something silly, you know. But yeah, it was, I just knew, I was thinking like, I know, God, I know you ain't gonna leave me. I know, you know what I'm saying? I know you got me, right? Like, you know, but he allowed me to hit my head. He allowed me to hit my head, and I'm talking about a couple lumps on it from that. And it ought to have been more, because I still didn't learn from that. But anywho, yeah, so at that point, I don't know what I'm finna do. I'm at a hotel, I'm staying in motels, getting kicked out of hotels.
You're talking good, girl.
Honey, just not me, just not Daejha. But when you're outside of what you know to be doing, and outside of God's purpose and God's will and God's plan, then it's not nothing is finna really be good. You know what I'm saying? It's not finna be no peace in what you're doing. It's not finna be no nothing, no security in what you're doing, no nothing, none of that. You ain't finna have none of that. Like, so yeah, I would say round about 2019, up in that area, up until probably about maybe 5-6 months ago, honestly, that I done been steady running, you know, and having to keep hitting my doggone head until I just came on round. So yeah.
Okay, very good. That's powerful. Whenever you said that, you know, basically from what you're saying, it was a period where it seemed like you kept losing. And so you're describing that as that window, you
and
know.
that ain't, you know, that wasn't even a half.
Right. Right.
But
So
yeah, that window, yeah.
Yeah, where it's coming to an end. And so emotionally, share with us during those periods of continual loss and continual, you know, trying to do it this way, and maybe it's not working that way. And in the end, it seems like maybe you're the one losing out. Talk about emotionally. How did that affect you emotionally?
Emotionally, I feel like I was detached, because I knew what I was doing was not, I know I ain't lining up with nothing of how I was raised, of, you know what I'm saying, what was instilled in me, my relationship with God, none of that was lining up. So emotionally, I had to detach from it, because I knew, like, I can't sit here and blame God for this, because you know better. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, at the end of the day, regardless that you doing it, and on the outside, it probably looked like, you know what I'm saying, you cool with doing this, and I'm just gonna go with it. But emotionally, I just had detached from it. Like, I felt it, you know, I felt what I was going through and things like that, but I couldn't think about God for real, because at that time I didn't want to change. I didn't want to be brought out for real. I just wanted him to save me from that. I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Just get me from out of what I done messed up, so I can get back to doing what I was doing. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's great insight. And we know that's 100 coming from you. Is there ever a time where you felt like God was just not there? Bottom line, period. He's just not here anymore. Or did you still sense him and felt that need to, that he was still tugging on you?
No, I never felt like, I always felt the pull. Now I can say it would be like, sometimes it would be like months in between, but that's off of the strength of me, because I ain't looking for him. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not reaching my hand out. I don't even want to hear what you got to say about what I just did, because I already know. So I'm just gonna keep on going with it, you know, like. So no, I never felt like he was never not there or not ready to be there. I knew he was waiting on me, really.
Okay, very good, very good. I see, like I say, I see the comments are rolling in, and basically everybody saying you speaking truth, and you got the speak faces going on, and so this is, just a great conversation. And let me say, I appreciate your transparency and also your authenticity, because a lot of times it's so easy to be shame, about what we've gone through. And I say so many times that a lot of things that I did younger growing up, I'm not bound. I don't feel shame about talking
What you
about
was
it.
doing?
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh, what you was doing?
Some of that same stuff, drinking and that kind of stuff, trying to do, the very same thing. And so, when you see your children doing certain things, because what we have to understand is whether we're saved or not, people are still human. And so you cannot take that humanness away from people. And I think that one of the things that, we really strive to do with you and your brothers is not to make you all feel some type of way that you could not be human, because we were pastors, and so giving you all an opportunity to grow, was key. Because I think that sometimes as parents, when we try to hold on too tight, when we try to shun, our kids from certain things, when we try to make them feel like it's nothing out there, but at the same time, we had to see, we had to experience it. I think when you put so much energy in trying to keep a child from doing something, it just sparks their curiosity even more. And so, again, I appreciate your transparency and the fact that there are so many people that have gone through this very same thing. We've all been to those places where we've lost. We've tried to do it over and over again. We've come to God, for a moment until it seems like everything is fixed, and now we're ready to go back out there. And we say 2 days we're trying to do right, and then we get to a point where because I'm not ready to do this yet. And so I can remember telling my mom, like when she was telling me about God, I was like, because I'm not going to be in church playing with God. And so it was funny when I think it was Dominique that said the same thing. I'm not trying to play with God. So, as you share, your story, all I can think about is all of the young ladies, that are out there that have experienced some of the same things. What would you say could have possibly been the root of some of this?
I feel like it was just, I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I don't really feel like it was for me personally. But for me personally, I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. I felt like I had the space for it, and which I didn't. I didn't have the capacity to even be bringing nobody else in, or you know what I'm saying, trying to hold that up. I had just got in a position where I was able to pay my bills. I was able to be kind of independent, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me to do that, I just felt like I was grown. I felt like, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm paying my own bills. Y'all, come on. Like, you know, I'm not looking at it in the aspect of you finna be taking care of this boy. You finna be, you know what I'm saying, taking on everything that he has already, his emotional little stuff he got going on, and then somebody who really don't know God, don't even ain't studying it. Now I know I wasn't, but you know what I'm saying? Like it always be, oh well, I believe in a higher power, but that should have been the first. Get out of here. Get out my house. Get out my house. That should have been the first, you know what I'm saying, right there. But we sit there and we look over stuff, you know what I'm saying, because ultimately it's what I wanted to do anyways. So yeah, I don't think it, for me, it wasn't a root other than I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Okay, good. So when we look at and we think about your younger years, you know, and transitioning, you know, through those younger years, and I know that it's so easy. I know that peer pressure is real. It is very real. With peer pressure, and then trying to cipher through, you know, different friendships and different things. So when you look back at your younger years, talk a little bit about, because we have parents on here, talk a little bit about peer pressure and the things that, you know, young people face and the reality of it. You know, because sometimes it's easy to think that, especially when a child says, one of the signs for me is I don't really fool with them because I'm not doing this. But 9 times out of 10, they're not going to share what they are doing, though. And so, even those things can be things that are done in the dark, you know, with them by themselves. But, you know, sometimes young people may not always share. So, talk to us a little bit about peer pressure for young people.
I would say I was on the pressure side of it. Ringleader. Yeah, because for me, I'm not gonna do nothing I don't want to do. Now it might be a stretch of stuff that I don't do, you know what I'm saying, and a big gap of stuff I will do. I want to do that anyway, so you ain't got to pressure me because you know I'm gonna beat you doing it, you know. But anyways, I would say I wouldn't say I was like popular or nothing in school, but I was cool with everybody for the most part. I was cool, you know what I'm saying? Like I played sports and stuff like that, so you know that add on to it or whatever. So I was cool with a lot of people, but I know for like ones who maybe, I'm not gonna say they wasn't cool, but they might have saw us or saw people who seemed cool, or you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third, and wanted to be around that, wanted to be accepted or whatever. So those would be the ones that would be easier to pressure because they're wanting to be accepted in whatever way, whatever fashion, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And not saying these people was lame or nothing like that. They just wanted what they saw, what they felt like they saw, you know what I'm saying? And whole time it wasn't nothing, but you know, I would say just for the peer pressure, I think it is real heavy though, like in high school and stuff like that, because at that point you got from 9th to 12th grade. That's really a big leap. And I didn't really start like seeing like how not grown and not old enough. I'm 14, I'm 15, I'm 16 now. You know what I'm saying? Like until I got older, looking back on it, like, girl, you still was a baby. You know what I'm saying? Really, and even senior year, you know what I'm saying? You really still a child, honestly. Like, yeah, we got this whole little thing like, oh, I'm 18 now, I graduated high school, like I'm finna leave the house, I'm finna be in college, whatever it is, but you still really be a child, honestly. You really still a child. So I do think peer pressure is something crazy, like in high school. Now the times done evolved or whatever. So it's really with all this technology and stuff like that, like I feel like it's really by elementary school now. Like it's crazy.
Oh
It's
wow.
crazy.
Wow. Oh wow. That's good information. Whenever you talk about peer pressure and the reality of it, and the fact that a lot of people get into it because they just want to be a part. They just want to be accepted. So when you look back and you peruse back, over your life, what would be a do-over for you? If you could do anything over, what would you do over?
Um do over, like to be better, like to
What
change
would
how I
you
did.
Yes. What
I
would you
probably would
say?
say college. I probably would have took college more serious because after a while, me in school never really just clicked or whatever. But I mean, when I first went, I was, excited to be there and all this, that, and the third. But I was playing basketball, and then these folk talking about red shirt in me and all that. I ain't used to that. I'm not used to, like being on the bench or even red shirt. And red shirt, it don't even mean, you know what I'm saying, you finna be benched or anything like that. But just going into that new, like, me red shirt and who? Like, what I'm saying, what y'all red shirting me for? You know what I'm saying? But then on top of that, they got me because my grades. My grades was not there, so they had that also. You know what I'm saying? It was a standard. It was a standard. Like, even though I feel like it's a business, once you get in there and see, like, college sports and stuff like that, it's definitely a business. But if your mind not right, you're gonna fall by the wayside anyway. So even if I was playing, I still would have fell by the wayside. You know what I'm saying? Like, just being real about it. Like, I want to blame it on the fact of, oh, I wasn't playing no way, so I ain't studying it. You know what I'm saying? If I was playing, I would have did the same doggone thing. So I feel like I would have took college a lot more and went on here and did it, because I could have been done graduated by now, and I'm still whatever I am. I don't even know what I am.
You're a
Still,
genius.
yeah, still that. Still that. So yeah.
Okay, good, good. So, as I'm continuing our conversation, those of you that have a question for Daejha, if you would just put it out there, and we'll present it to her and let her answer that question. So, I want to ask you something that's twofold. Share with us something that your father has said to you that has had like an indelible impression upon your life. And then share something that, of course, me as your mother has said something to you that has really impacted your life.
Mm-hmm. Um, I would say with my daddy, hey dad, if you want here. I would say just him, like if I peep something, or if I notice something, or if I'm asking him questions about different little stuff, like in general, whatever might be going on, and hey dad, what's up with that? What's this? What's that? What you see? He gonna ask me what you see it is, you know what I'm saying? And we might have a little conversation over that, and okay then, you see what it is, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that really like stuck with me the most, because I feel like it helped me trust like the discernment too that God has given me, and like being able to see things for what it is really, and not second guess it, because it comes, so some stuff just be so clear, and it's like, nah, I know them people ain't Not them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but just off of the strength of how my daddy, you know what I'm saying, off of little certain situations or whatever, I feel like that's done had like a big impact on me, like in dealing with stuff. And even if I still choose to act like I didn't see it or act like I don't know, I know whole time. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that, like just being sharp with what I'm seeing, sharp with my discernment, sharp with my mind, you know what I'm saying? And trusting that, you know, and trusting what God is saying, trusting what I'm seeing right in front of me, you know. Without him even saying nothing. I'd be asking him and I'd be the one that done talked the whole time. He ain't said nothing. Okay then. That's what it is. Like, you know, so I feel like that's been like a big, because you know, I pick up on something quick, like, no, you're not finna play with me on that. And then I get the feeling like people be playing with me and playing on my talk like I don't see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I feel like he was real impactful with that. With you, I feel like handling my business aspect, just making sure I get my business handled, because I'm a big procrastinator with anything really. And well, let me not claim that. Stop. Sorry, she about to knock this drink down. But I think I have been a huge procrastinator with stuff, and like I just feel like you done been a great example. And on my top about that, like handling my business and make sure my business is handled first before anything, you know what I'm saying? And always making sure I got this, that, and the third, you know, make sure doing stuff way ahead of time, so whenever it do come up, or if it do come up, then I'm straight, because I already done figured out a plan for that. I already done handled that, you know what I'm saying? So whenever it do come up, I'm good. All I gotta say is, Linda, now you know. Now why did but I already be done. I've been 2 steps ahead, you know, of it. So I think for you to just stand on top of my business, handling my business first, and making sure I'm straight, and with my daddy just trusting in my discernment and trusting in, you know, my mind, what I'm seeing, what God's showing me, you know.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so we have, let's see, we have about 20 minutes left. This has been great. So let's get a few questions. One question is, what would be, you know what would be your advice to a young lady who's trying to figure out the life is lifing battle? That's good.
God.
God.
That really be the answer to all of our stuff that we be dealing with and going through. It honestly be God, and in some way, shape, or form, it ultimates in us not really submitting to God. And it's something that we not doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it ain't got to be nothing like bad or anything like that, but ultimately, he said he want all of us 100%. You got to give everything to him. You know what I'm saying? So like ultimately, I mean, life gonna life regardless. Life is gonna life regardless. But in my notes, I had to write down a little something. I didn't know where we was gonna go with it. But when we was talking about like weathering the storm or weathering through life and stuff like that. So I got on here. Storm. What is the definition of a storm? A storm is a violent disturbance of the atmosphere with strong winds and usually rain, thunder, lightning, or snow. So with that, it say a storm is a violent disturbance. What is a disturbance? A disturbance is the interruption of a settled and peaceful condition. The disruption of healthy functioning. So if it's a storm, that means we got to be in God to even be going through a storm. Half of the stuff that we be claiming is a storm, it ain't no storm. It's us. It's us because we done been disobedient. But ultimately, it's something that we done did. We done been disobedient in this area. We done, you know what I'm saying? We done chose to go about something our own way. We didn't want to wait on God. We didn't want to, whatever it is. So just first off, I would just say with life is gonna life. Like I said, life is gonna life. But we also have to assess the environment. Am I in God's will? Have I been doing, you know what I'm saying? What he done told me to do? Is he like, you know, am I listening? Am I responding right? Like I first, and that's for me, this word was for me, you know what I'm saying? Not even just this question, this was for me, you know, like what have you been doing? Assess yourself, assess your environment, because it say on here, it's a disturbance of an atmosphere with strong winds. Now, a disturbance is the interruption of a settled and peaceful condition. That's God. You know what I'm saying? That's in God. You and God with that. So if you getting interrupted and all of this, and it's outside of a God sent storm, then that's something we done did. So I feel like with the life in this life, and first off, we got to assess ourselves and assess the environment. What are we doing? What we done been saying? What we done been posting on social media? You know, like all of the stuff that entail like our life, our day-to-day life. Our day-to-day life. What are we doing on the job? You know what I'm saying? Like what are we showing? Is God getting the glory from out of our lives in every aspect of our day-to-day? So I think just being mindful of what you're doing, how you moving, being mindful of how you moving.
Very good. Very good. Next question. Was there ever a time you wanted to give up? If so, what kept you going?
I would say no. I'm still young, you know, so I don't really know if I ain't lived long enough yet to, you know, go through. But with the things that I've been through, I didn't want to give up. And maybe it's just off of how I was raised though. Like you did something. Now somebody might be done wronged you, or somebody might be, a situation might be done went on, or life is life in. But as I just said, like we have to assess ourselves. What is it that you're doing? You know what I'm saying? On the day-to-day, like, and I understand, like, even with the you could be doing everything right, and you know, this, that, and the third. But if that's a God sent storm, you gotta weather that. We gotta sit through that. It's no help. We be trying to look for a way out of the storm that God sent to press us. You know what I'm saying? As the lady was talking about Friday at our little women's conference thing, like getting that pure oil from out of us. It's no way. You can't give up. You don't have an option to give up. And that's the thing that should keep you going, is knowing that once you come from out of that, it's gonna be you're a whole different type of person. You finna be on a whole new level, a whole new mindset. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't let the devil get in your mind and, you know, try to rush the process, or you thinking like, I done been in this for too long. I done been now something should ought to be done gave by now. You know what I'm saying? So and my pastor was preaching too about how let me not be done told a story on here now. The king's servant was going to go look for a wife for him. Who I'm talking about? I know tell my daddy to put it on there. He know who I'm talking about. But she went to the well doing the same thing that she do every time. And she was pouring and pouring and pouring. And so he asked for a drink. The dude,
you talking about the Samaritan woman?
Maybe.
At the well?
Yes.
And Jesus was telling her about the husband, and one she with right now, not hers.
I don't know. I know it was a servant that went to go look for a husband for the king's son. You know what I'm talking about? Anyways, the story with it, he had the camels. He brought the camels and all of that. And so he was saying the way he would know that she was the one is if she gave him something to drink and the camels something to drink. That story, that's what I'm talking about. Her, whoever that is, Lord forgive me, but her. And she kept on pouring and pouring and pouring. And Pastor Rennie was talking about like camels can consume up to 30 gallons of water. So that's a lot of water. And the dude had 10 camels with him. And so she kept pouring and kept pouring and kept pouring. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I know she tired, she exhausted. She, you know, she could have easily said, all right, now you finna have to come fill up these water buckets now, like, because now. So yeah, I feel like it's just, we just have to keep going. You have to keep going. You have to be encouraged. And if you in God, when the flesh is weak, that's when he's made strong. So if we in God, he gon' stand up with us. He gonna help us to stand up. You know what I'm saying? He not gonna leave you in that. He not gonna leave you, distraught or whatever. If you moving in the right way and you truly in God, you good. So no, I ain't never wanted to give up. And the motivation on it was, I know it's something better on that other side. I got to sit here through this. I'm gonna have to.
That's good. That's good right there. I love it whenever you say it, that a lot of times we want to go ahead and come out of that storm, and that it's important for us to understand if it's a storm that, that something that God has sent. Because if it is something that he sent, he's definitely is going to produce something. Once we come out of that storm, we're going to be so much better coming out. Another question: do you feel that your parents, being pastors, were you more pressed into doing things because you were a pastor's kid? And do you feel that people did or didn't accept you as a pastor's kid?
No, I didn't feel like because y'all didn't place that over us. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, now y'all still disciplined us. Now we weren't supposed to be being bad and, you know what I'm saying, doing stuff or whatever, certain stuff. No, nah. But I feel like we were allowed that space to grow up. So yeah, I got into stuff, the usual. I feel like it's the usuals of growing up, you know what I'm saying, and doing certain stuff. Like, yeah, I did all of that. I did everything. Yeah, so no, I don't think I was, I wasn't even never, I don't even think looked at as a PK. Now, here and there, every blue moon, somebody probably would say, well, them PKs, you know what I'm saying? But it never was nothing that was like, it wasn't nothing extreme, you know what I'm saying? And then my daddy was real known. My daddy was always the cool, yeah, he cool, he real cool, he real cool. So everybody already knew my daddy and really was fond of my daddy, you know what I'm saying? So like it really wasn't like a PK. I didn't live like a PK titled person, I guess. I don't really know. Like I be hearing stories about it and stuff like that, but that wasn't my experience, like PK. So I really can't speak to, that, because I feel like we was able to grow up. We was able to be us, you know what I'm saying? And I really like the fact that y'all knew us. So even when people was coming saying different little stuff, you know what I'm saying? Y'all might not say it to them, or like, y'all gonna handle the situation, conversation with maturity, but y'all knew, y'all knew us. So it really wasn't nothing nobody could come telling y'all, thinking they telling y'all something y'all ain't already know about us, trying to be funny. But that ain't the conversation that ain't the topic. But I just thank God that y'all knew us. And you know what I'm saying? Even if they came and told something that we wasn't supposed to do, y'all already knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah.
Okay, good. And you're talking about Abraham and Rebecca.
That's exactly who I'm talking about.
Okay, next question. This comes from Anai. What would you say to your younger? What would you say to your younger self from where you are now? What would you tell your younger self? That's good.
You need a whooping.
Oh.
I would tell her probably like, I mean, don't procrastinate. Don't wait and try to go ahead and get this living out the way. Let me go ahead and do, because that really was my thing. Like, I'm finna do this. Like, I am gonna get saved. I am gonna go to God. Now, I always knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. I know I'm gonna do it. I know I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just in me. Like, I know I'm gonna come around. I know I'm gonna be in the church. Like, and I know I'm not just gonna be in the church on the pews, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm gonna be active. I know I'm gonna be serving. I know to some capacity, you know, like I know I'm gonna be in church. But until then, I'm gonna go to the club. Like, before I do that, I'm gonna go take a shot, you know, all of that. So yeah, I probably would tell myself, like, what am I waiting on? Why am I waiting to, you know what I'm saying? Like, really, it's that whole thing. You really not missing nothing, because once you do it, that's really it. It ain't it's nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Coming behind that, other than the same, you know what I'm saying, thing over and over and over again. And you're going to get tired of it eventually, or you ought to. You know what I'm saying? You ought to get tired. Like, I don't know. I feel like people my age should be tired of certain stuff, but that's just me, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I would tell myself, like, don't wait so long. Like, it ain't, because we don't have time, and we think we be having so much time, and you know, it's just at one point I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start. This gonna be my last week now. This is my last week drinking. This is my last week now, and then I'm coming for real. And it never was. You know what I'm saying? Until I stopped saying that, and I just started opening my Bible. I just started praying. I just started, you know what I'm saying, and let Him change me, instead of trying to feel like, okay, well, I got to get right first. You know what I'm saying? I can't come to you like this when that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, you're supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't save yourself. So, yeah, child.
You're talking good. What would you say to a young adult who thinks that being saved means I can't have fun or a good time?
I feel like you have to know who you are in God. Because I'm still the same me. Now, I'm saved. I ain't, you know, it's gonna be a little time for me or whatever. So I'm still the same me though. I'm still, you know what I'm saying, jokey, playful. Like, I'm a jive. I'm gonna do all this, that, and the third. Mine is the cussing. Mine is the, you know what I'm saying, all the stuff that we feel like. It has to be a mind change. You gotta. If you ain't done changed your mind, your mental, you're going to always feel like you can't have fun. Because what is fun to you? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be cussing to be having fun. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, why, Linda, and it just don't even sound right for me to cuss no more.
Good.
Like, I just, I just can't. Anywho, that's off topic. But yeah, I feel like we gotta ask God to, like, deliver our minds. Like, we have to have a renewed mind, a renewed spirit. Once you do that and you start figuring out who you are in God and who you are as a person, because if you're not in God, you don't know who you is. I'm sorry. If you are not in God, you don't know who you is, and you're being somebody that you're not. Regardless of how much you think you being you, and this always been me. Yeah, you ain't never had God. So yeah, that's always been, you know what I'm saying? But if you're not in God, you don't know who you are at all. You don't know who you is. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that they need to go just continue with their little walk with God and strengthen that. Continue. You got to be in the word. You can't.
That's your work. That's your workhorse.
You got to be in the word now. You got to be in the word. If you're not in the word, you're not going to see no fitting. Everything that you look at, you're going to be seeing what look like people getting away with stuff, and like what seem like how they get to do that. Now, they ain't getting caught. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I would have did, I would have been caught. You know, so just you have to. And what is that doggone scripture? Matter of fact, while I'm on here, You know I'm finna get to it. Hold on.
Get to it, woman of God. Get to it.
But it basically talking about like, don't be looking at the unrighteous, like, and people who have seem like they have all these riches, and the Bible say riches and all of this stuff, possessions, and they on the up and up. These people are not. If you don't have God, you're not on the up and up. I'm sorry. If you're not rooted in God, you're not on the up and up. Now you might feel like you good, you okay, and all of this, but how would you even know if you ain't never been in God to see what He has for you, to see what He could do? You know what I'm saying? All your life you doing stuff that somebody else did for you off of man. You're dependent on man to, you know what I'm saying, do something, whatever. But no, honey. No, honey. I'm trying to
You still so while you're looking for your scripture, this has been, some great information your dad put on here. It's an illusion, is what it is. It's
it's
all
an illusion now. Don't it's saying the word too. He won't let your foot slip now. So if you get in God, you ain't even gonna be stuck, and you'll already know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an illusion. Right, my daddy said it's a front, it's a facade. These people really are missing. It's a void. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's all they have to hold on to. So of course they're gonna try to make that look as good as possible.
That's good.
Honey,
That's good.
I can't find it. I'm trying to flip
You
through
can't
this
find your
Bible.
scripture. Okay, well, listen, we have certainly enjoyed. I told you all that it was going to be a candid conversation and that it was going to be real raw, but definitely relevant. This young lady, our daughter, has shared from her heart. Has shared, it's genuine. And if you don't know Daejha, now you do. Because what you see is what you get, and this is who she is, and I'm grateful that she's never put on any airs or anything. She's one that if you do not want to know, please don't ask her. Because she's definitely going to tell you the truth. I am so proud of her and proud of her growth, and I just thank God for where she is at this moment, in her life. It has been years of prayer, years of watching her do the life and thing, watching her do things on her own, um, in her own timing, as she says, and just looking at, no parent wants to see their child go through anything or anything like that. However, as parents, we have to have and we have to trust what we put in them. And sometimes to get the best out of them, God takes them on their own journey, their own route, and so I'm always thankful for that scripture where it talks about all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. And so even though some of the routes we take at the time it's not good and the decisions were not good, and we could have done things a whole lot differently, I thank God for his grace and his mercy. And I thank God that he's not only the God of a first chance, but a second, third, and he'll give us a chance to get it right. And so I commend Daejha, on her journey, with God. There are many transitions happening in her life right now. You heard it from her. She is saved now, serving God. She told me for real this time,
For real. No more backsliding.
listen, and she is has her a church home. She talked to her dad and I, and wanted to know how we felt about her joining another ministry. And our thing was go for it. That has always been one of our desires, that they would, when they left home, that they would connect with a ministry that is feeding them the word of God. And so the ministry she's connected with, she says, is so much like home, and they remind me so much of you and my daddy. So who couldn't ask for that? And so, of course, we told her, definitely don't just join somebody's church. Go and serve. Go and help your pastors in ministry. And so I just thank God. I cannot thank God enough, that she has given her life over to Christ, and that she is living for him, and she is walking it out. And so I'm just so excited to see what God is going to do in her. And you just stay tuned, because you will have an opportunity to hear more from our daughter, Daejha. So, Daejha, as we begin to wrap up and to close out, what is something that you would like to say as we get ready to close it out? And listen, you can go back and look at the threads, but they are really shouting you out, supporting you, talking about what a great job you're
Thank
doing.
y'all.
Everyone is appreciating your authenticity, and so walk it out is what I'm saying. Walk
I'm gonna get up and do the dance.
it out. And so we bid you Godspeed, all God's best to you. And I know that you're safe with him. So give us some final words as we get ready to go.
Um, it was so good talking to y'all. I would just say, stick it out. Like, just be intentional. For me personally, I just had to be very intentional and get intentional about my walk with God and my relationship with God. And expect the great. Like, if you're walking in him, you living right and you doing right, you can put expectations on God. You can expect for him to do what he said he gonna do, and he gonna do it. It's not like you gotta remind him or anything like that, but put them expectations on God as far and match. You gotta be, it gotta be mutual. Now you can't just be wanting God to do this, that, and the third, and and your life ain't matching up with that, because he ain't obligated at that point. It's no obligation. You know what I'm saying? If you in him, you in Christ and all that, he obligated to stick to his word, and he's gonna do that anyways. So I just would say, just be intentional about your relationship with God, what you're expecting, what you want, and just be intentional. Be intentional.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. I want to encourage you all again to please join me on Tuesday at 6 p.m. as we resume Rejection Gone Wild. We didn't have an opportunity to do that because of technical difficulties, but we're definitely going to do that segment, and it is going to be a tremendous blessing for you. To all of our audience, to every one of you, thank you so much for joining in on tonight. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go over and support me by simply subscribing to my channel. That's it for tonight. I hope that this conversation has been a blessing for you, because it certainly has for me. And again, it's one that will always be real, raw, and relevant. Good night.